my next question is to the bankers, and this one is to Mr. Abdi and Micheal specific. You at Centonomy, you've seen you've been training people on money matters. Yeah, can you give an example of like some of the successes you've seen with people who've started small? Yeah, it's same question applies for you, Mr. Abdi. Yani, examples of people who you would think their money doesn't mean much and what that has done for them, yeah? And the same question goes to Salim for real estate. Huh? If you've seen people who've started small and what they've been able to do with that, yeah? So we'll start with Abdi, then Micheal, then Salim.
Okay, so as I said, I've been in banking for a long time, but actually before I joined banking, I used to be a school teacher, and I was teaching mathematics in a school called County High School in Garissa, okay? And there was a guy we were teaching together there, and later on, when I became a banker, I kind of introduced him to Barclays, and he banked with us for a long time. He's still a good friend. And I always look at him as the best example that although income is important, and people always focus on raising the income side, how do I get a better salary? How do I increase my business revenues? And all of that is good, but the bigger issue is how do you also manage your cost and what goes out every day. And this teacher, of course, when we were teachers, we were earning 2,000 and something per month. And I remember he could save from that amount. He had a lot of projects. He had a little shop there. He would do the projects around farming, chicken, and 1,001 different things. And when I was a banker later, I could see over the years his wealth increased to a level where the salary actually is a very minimal part of his income. And for me, he demonstrated the power of discipline, remaining focused, and making sure you are not careless with your funds. At the same time, I had another client, and of course, we are not allowed to name names, who was at the time working with one of the UN agencies, and this is in the 1990s. He was getting 200,000 on salary alone. He used to travel to Geneva and 1,000 other places. He would get a lot of whatever they call them, per diems, etc. Yes. And this guy we knew. In the bank, we have facilities for people before the salary comes, emergency overdrafts, salary advances, things like that. This guy used to turn up like clockwork. Every month around 25th, he would check in, and we would all know when he comes, oh, it's a temporary advance. And he was earning at the time close to 5 years of our salary in 1 month. You understand? So the income and the cost are both very important. And of course, you can imagine over the years, I've seen many examples of people who don't manage their funds well, and people who, although not necessarily earning the highest, organize themselves in a way that you see over the years the build-up and the success that they achieve.
Micheal?
All right, great. Now, I don't know how to answer this question. Unajua, tuko na wengi, we've trained over thousands.
Yeah.
But, Maimuna, why don't you be my answer today? My answer.
Your answer?
Yes. You've asked if I know one person.
Yes.
Who, I'd like to say you.
Oh.
Because Maimuna is one of our strong alumni. How many programs have you done?
I've done 2.
2 programs, right? And how has your life been before and after the programs?
That's a good one.
You remember I told you I don't know how to answer this question.
Micheal, lakini, I will take up the challenge, Micheal. I'm an accountant by profession. As hard as that is, I did not have financial literacy. When I finished university, I had only one goal. My mom is here. Only one goal, to make sure my mom is comfortable. I didn't have any other financial goal. Just letting my mom is comfortable. I take care of my mom. Now, when you tell me saving, when you tell me expense, I'm wondering, kuna vitu ingine? beyond that. Yeah, I didn't have any knowledge beyond that. So, that the gentleman I told you showed up at my work. I said, Naima somo yote. I'm not financially literate. So I looked online and I saw people who've done this. So I took up the course for financial literacy. One is I learned about savings. And in the classroom, I was the first one to ask. The teacher asked, kwa nini wewe una biashara? Nikasema, employees are untrustworthy. First one to say that, Then she said, have you set up a business, Maimuna? Nikasema, hapana. Then how do you know they're untrustworthy? Yeah? So, yes, I started small, I saved small. And from saving, I was able to now start thinking of businesses. What can I do as a business person? Yes, I am in business. I've been able to now empower the other ones, my younger ones, to do the same causes and also advise them in terms of money matters and any other person that I can find. I have not arrived. I don't think I would say I've arrived, but the literacy makes a very big difference for me. That I know the difference between what an asset is. And those days I was very angry I didn't have a car. Kila mtu ako na gari na mimi sina. So after the class, I was very relaxed. I said, I don't need a car. A car is not an asset. So I was very relaxed. I said, Nisawa, this money of mine, I can use it to do something else. Then I started an Uber. It did well for me. Now I'm in other businesses. But it was my first. I mean, instead of taking the car for my own self, I took it into a business. So I would say, yes, those are the things it's done for me. It just empowered me. Basically, I'm able to tell this is good and this is not, yeah? And how I get to that final destination of wealthy. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Maimuna, for being, a good steward, first of all, with your money, and also being a good Centonomy representative. Asante.
So, just before you, Salim, Mr. Badru would like to give an answer.
I think I just wanted to mention something that probably when we're talking about financial literacy, we might not appreciate our mothers and our grandmothers. Whatever they knew, they actually had probably what now would term financial literacy. Why I'm saying this is because most of them, I don't know about other regions. I was actually born and bred in Nairobi, and you'd find quite a number of women who came together, they formed chamas, they bought land, and they constructed houses, and they lived in those houses. I know people who, maybe third generation are living in that house that was built by their great-grandmother. So financial literacy was there. And then secondly, the so-called housewives, we look down upon them, and the little money that you leave behind as a husband. I can see we are very few endangered species here, the men, we are very few. Generally, what you find is that you might have left, let's say, 500 shillings. She would save some money because she knows maybe tomorrow the child would need a pencil, and of course, children, they would need this, they would need that. So there was that financial literacy. And then secondly, something that I learned when I started the journey of Islamic finance, one of the things that we are not taught, and I can see quite a number of ladies here, very young. One thing that we are not taught when we start working is in Malaysia, they have what they call target saving or tabung hajj. Immediately you start working, you start saving for hajj. Okay? Now, I am mentioning this because today you look at the youth, and maybe the example that you mentioned that you realized, I don't really need a car. The young girls today, probably somebody has just started working, or maybe even before they started working, they own a phone that is more expensive than somebody who is working. So they don't have the financial literacy. Why do I say this? Because when now they start working, they want a bigger phone. Not necessarily because the mulika muizi that they have is not sufficient for them, but because of the Instagram culture. You want this or you want that. You also want to go out, have lunch, you have dinner, you have coffee and all this. again, that lifestyle, and until you realize that facade, that illusion of Instagram culture is a lie, you're going to be wasting your money every day.